in becoming a new author? Well, join Renee and her new program. It's called From Manuscript to Market. You'll learn the things that you don't know, the things that you wish you knew, and all the ways to become a successful published author. Tragedy to Majesty. In 2016, I had a horrible experience with a publisher, a Christian publisher, because I didn't know. I was an entrepreneur. I was in the I worked in brick and mortar business. I was never in the digital space. I didn't know how to text. I didn't use social media. I was totally not in this whole digital world. And so one of the reasons why I want to do this, could you go to the next slide, please? One of the reasons why I thought it was important
love to be a part of your journey,
share my story and my
become more than just something that's
so
in your
many times
life.
people
Your
don't
book
tell
become
you
a solution
what
for
you
your
need to know to
generation.
go into this.
So if this sounds like something you're interested in,
so for me,
please buckle up, get a grab a cup of coffee or tea, and let's sit down and learn more about From Manuscript to Market from someone who's not just talking,
designed
but
to
they're
help
taking
people
action.
get prepared for marriage, restart, and merge. And so we love engaged couples, but we realized that there was nothing for people who were single. So everyone wants to talk to married people, everybody wants to talk to engaged couples. So we felt like, okay, Lord, well, we're married. I don't want to talk to singles, but we've been single. And marriage is where you date forever. And so we wrote this book, and for me, could you go to the next slide, please? And I would recommend you guys take pictures of the slide, because there's a lot of information, and I would not like for you to miss it. So please take a picture of the slides, because it's going to kind of give you some things that you're going to really need to know in this journey. And so I'm going to talk about the 3 different types of authors, because there's reasons why you write. Sometimes you're writing because of the purpose that God put on your heart. And if you're a purpose-driven author, you have to make sure that you know that. And I'll give you some examples of your purpose-driven author. And a lot of times that's more of you're just doing it because God put on your heart to do it. Some of you, how many of you from a little girl or a little boy, you have a journal and you have written? If that's who you are, raise your hand. Some of you guys, it's a passion. There's a problem that you want to solve. It keeps you up at night. You see it, it bothers you. And so you may be a passion-driven author. Give you some definitions of that and to kind of have an understanding of it. And then you have a professional author. How many of you have businesses and someone told you if you have a business, you need to have a book? I was told that as an entrepreneur. If you have a business, you need to have a book and a podcast. And I'm like, why? And so those are the 3 different types of authors. So you need to kind of really know where you are in that journey. Can you go to the next slide, please? And then these are the things that motivate you. Are you motivated by faith and God's purpose and God's plan? Are you looking for financial stability? Are you doing this because you feel like this would be another stream of income? Are you doing it for fame? And as believers, you would say, oh, it shouldn't be for fame. But I always say, whatever your motivation is, you have to be honest about it going into it, and you need to know what it is, because you can't rightfully execute what you haven't defined. So I would tell you, take a picture of all these things, because it's going to give you things that you're going to think about, questions you're going to have. And so for me, because my background is entrepreneurship, I got married at 21. We were both from Detroit. We're Air Force. We lived all over the country. And so for me, I understand a book as a business. So for me, I've always had a different perspective about just writing a book. I know people who write books and they have all the books in the garage in a box. And it's not to say that that's right or wrong, but sometimes it's because you don't know. And so what I want to help you to do is kind of first define what kind of author you are, have an understanding of what's your motivation. May I have the next slide, please? And so these are some of the things that writers need to have. Because no one told me that if you write a book that you need to use social media. How many of you guys use social media? How many of you like it? I hate it. I hate social media. I like to talk to my friends in person and on the phone. I don't want to talk on social media. I don't want to text. I want to talk. relationships are important to me. And so, but this is a part of what you have to do. So these are some of the things you need to do. You need to have a routine for writing. You need to make sure that if God has called you to do this, you're going to be doing it consistently. You know, you have to write a little every day. You have to be organized. How many of you guys are organized? And so there are ways you can help yourself to be organized. You have to make sure that you set goals and that you have a way to keep track of things. One of the things that I can say that social media does is there's analytics, and it kind of shows you what's going on. It shows you if people are watching. Because sometimes before you write a book, you need to test it out in your community. And I wish that someone would have told me that I needed to have a community before I wrote a book, because I wrote a book and I didn't have a community. And so time management, you know, so these are all some of the things that need to be essential as a part of our life. Even if it's not our natural bend, it's something we need to kind of get used to. May I have the next slide, please? So these are some of the essential systems that we need to have. You need to have a website. You need to have an email marketing system. Some of those would be like MailChimp, or like for us, our website is where we collect all of our information about our community and our audience. Social media platforms. When I first started, I took a social media class, and this person flooded me with so much stuff. And you need to be on every platform. I will tell you that you don't need to be on every platform. You need to be on one platform that you can be consistent with and that you can be faithful to. You need to make sure that you think about where your book is going to be distributed. You know, are you going to use a traditional publisher? Are you using a Christian publisher? Are you going to self-publish? All of those are things you kind of have to think about. Are you going to do print on demand? So, you know, your SEO, because even when you're writing a book, all of those things are a big part of what these are all the things that no one told me. And so I want you to kind of be thinking about these things, so you don't just think, I'm going to just write a book. Because all of these are some of the things you need to be aware of. A book ad campaign, analytics, and keeping track, and whatever platform you decide to publish your book through, it'll help you do some of that. May I have the next slide, please? These are some of the tips. Some of the things, and Melissa, she talked about this. Know your audience. If you talk to everyone, you will talk to no one. It's so important as you think about what breaks your heart. What's what motivates you? What encourages you? Those are the kind of things you have to think about. I said it before, writing regularly. You know, when it comes to creating, even not just your book, but even creating social media, you have to have something to draw them in. And the hook is the thing that kind of gets their attention. And so those are the kind of things you got to think about, even when you're creating your book. And something that's important is to have realistic expectations. This is not going to happen overnight. I like to say overnight success takes about, I used to say 10 years, about 15 years. So be in this for the long haul. And one of the things that the Lord showed me, and it's helped me so much, is that He gives us things in seed form. So He wants us to go through the process. The enemy will give you a tree, because you don't have to grow, and you don't have to struggle, and you don't have to labor and toil. But God gives us the things that He gives us in seed form. Learn about the publishing process. I'm going to give you some more about that. Building a platform. Just choose one. You don't have to do all of them. Seek feedback. We have to be open to people sharing with us the things that because when you write a book, you love it. And you only know what you were saying, and you don't know how it's going to be received. So through the whole process, get used to that feedback. Because one of the things I can say about this author journey, if someone telling you no scares you, then don't be an author. And if doing things over again is a problem, because writing is rewriting. And rewriting, and rewriting, and rewriting. And so these are just some of the things you kind of develop as a mindset as an author. Understand copyright and your legal rights. Be resilient. You can't can't think that I'm gonna create this legacy, I'm gonna create this, and it's gonna happen overnight. It's not going to. May I have the next slide, please? Know the cost. I didn't know the cost. There's so many different things that you need to think about in this author journey. That the power of social media. This is where it changed the game for me. One of the young ladies, she said, I think I see you on Facebook. People have to know, like, and trust you. And the only way they're gonna do that, the book we did a book during the pandemic with 21 different authors all over the country. And all of them, we did it together. We talked about different parts of marriage, but we were on social media. And I didn't realize how powerful social media is, because you get to be in people's houses that you wouldn't necessarily get to know. And so I leveraged it, and I learned that, okay, this is a really important part of your business journey, is making sure that you're telling people about yourself every single day. And there's automated ways to do that. Can you go to the next slide, please? And so you can't underestimate the value of using social media. And sometimes people say, do a podcast. But if you do a podcast without starting with social media, who's going to listen to your podcast? So there's an order of how to do it. So you start off at the lowest level, which is telling your family and friends, using social media, get used to using a camera and talking to people from a screen, because it is the future of how we're going to connect with people who we may not meet face to face. So building your digital identity. The only person that can build your digital identity is you. I know people like to use, AI generated content, but people can't know, like, and trust you if they don't hear your story. May I have the next slide, please? 10 reasons why you need a press kit. Why do you need a press kit? You're not a radio person, you're not a TV person, because when you are trying to get in touch with the media, when you're trying to get opportunities to share what you're doing, they're going to do one thing. They're going to Google you. They're going to go to Google and they're going to Google you. The second thing they're going to ask you is, do you have a press kit? And so it doesn't have to be this expensive, elaborate thing, but these are just some of the things you need to think about when you're going into this space, because it's things that you're going to need. It gives you reasons why you need it. May I have the next slide, please? Publishing is more than sharing your story. It's about crafting it with a purpose and passion. I'll let you guys read it. But I think that for me, I didn't understand that, Lord, this is like so much. And it's like, it's growing, and it's like, oh my gosh, it can be overwhelming, especially if you don't go into it knowing. So I want to make sure that you guys go into it with your eyes wide open, with your hearts open, understanding the whole commitment you're making to this whole author journey. May I have the next slide, please? This is some of the ways you can contact us. I am a web designer, and I do web design, graphic design, and create apps. Because I got tired of waiting on people, I got tired of spending money, so I learned. You heard me say in the beginning, I couldn't text, I couldn't email. So you can learn to do it. This is some of the ways you can connect with us. Please scan the QR code. I would really ask that you guys scan it, and then after you scan the QR code, if you hit the contact us, you'll be able to contact us. We're able to contact you. I have some links, affiliate links, to kind of help you in your journey. As far as you can get discounts on different things. May I have the next slide? I'll wait for you guys to do that. But I want to give you guys time now to kind of answer some questions. Because I know that, you can read the slides later, but I know for me, I like to ask people who are doing this. And I have some magazines over there that kind of shows all the different places we've been. We've been on HGTV, we've been on NBC, we've been on Fox. We've not been on Fox yet. We've been in different magazines, and it's all because I ask. They're not looking for me. They don't know who I am, but I'm going to get on their nerves. One of the reasons for us is like, we're in Barnes & Noble. But we didn't start off there. But a part of it is understanding that if you do the legwork, if you make the investment, if you sow the seeds, God will honor your faithfulness. He'll honor your hard work. We have a book signing in Detroit, Michigan. That's where we're from, at Barnes & Noble at Wayne State University, that I called those people at least 40 times. I have called at least 100 Barnes & Nobles. I have been told, I have some days where I'm told no all day long. And I get up the next day and I do it again. Because being told no shouldn't stop you. It should catapult you into knowing that. And something the Lord showed me, success is not participation. Success is obedience. So if no one participates, if no one says yes, I'm doing what God has called me to do, what He's ordained for me to do. Just like all of you. You all have a message. God has a purpose for you. There's a story that only you can tell. And when He first told me to write books, I'm like, write books, man? There's like a whole bunch of books out here. Why do you want me to write a book? Because no one can tell your story but you. And there's things that everyone has their own audience. Everyone has someone they're called to speak to. And that's going to be different for all of us. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to kind of ask some questions. I'm very transparent. There's nothing you can't ask me that I would be embarrassed about or shy about. You can ask me anything, so.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
I have a question.
Can you bring your mic?
How do you handle being told no? How do you handle being told no?
I just feel like when someone tells me no, they haven't gotten enough information to say yes yet. So it just means not now. And then if I continue to pursue it and they say no, I realize that God is the God of yes and no. So just because someone says no, it just means I was not for. This is something the Lord taught me. Rejection is protection. If I'm not for someone, I'm not for them. It doesn't mean I'm not valuable, because rejection is about preference. I may not be their flavor, but it doesn't mean I'm not valuable. So you have to really get to a place that your identity is in Christ, that you know He's called you, that He has an audience for you, and just knowing that sometimes it's timing. You know, so I know that I'm gonna be told no, but I'm okay with that.
That's good. Any other questions?
You talked about the different type of offers. You could be into it for passion, or you could be into it for finance. I don't think there's anyone who want to put their effort, because your time is valuable. You don't want to put your time into something that is your passion, and you don't get any financial remuneration from it because you have mouth to feed, bills to pay. How do you balance the two of them, that your passion does not become you giving everything, your finances into it, and not saying that way? How do you balance it? Balance those two?
You know, everyone talks about passion. I feel that you have to temper your passion with purpose, and you have to make sure that you understand that passion is more like a flame that flickers, whereas purpose is more like the candle. And so you have to understand, how much of this do I have to invest? And set that budget, and talk to your husband, talk to your family. But there's different ways for books to make money for you. It's speaking engagements, it's doing workshops, there's doing online courses. So there's lots of ways that your book can make money for you other than just writing the book. But if you don't know that, you're only looking at book sales. But writing a book gives you credibility. It allows you to be a subject matter expert, and it allows you to open doors for you to do other things than just writing the book. Did that help? Okay, awesome.
Any other questions that she can answer for you guys? Okay, well, Renee, I just want to thank you again for all your words of wisdom. I love what you said about everyone having their own story, and I feel like if you just hold true to that, then, I mean, there's nothing that can take that away from that. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for all of the information, and on the QR code, again, that's all of the information.
I'm gonna have some free gifts to throw. Can I do that? Give gifts